Killzone is one of the few PlayStation exclusives that has managed to make an appearance on every generation of Sony console since the PlayStation 2 back in 2004. Since then, PlayStation has used this series to show how far each new generation of console has come in terms of visuals and gameplay. The last entry in the series was Killzone Shadowfall and was released back in November of 2013, and was used as a launch title for the PlayStation 4. The game itself was received mixed to well in terms of reviewers, and for fans of the series it was more of what they wanted but didn't do anything new to the genre or really set it apart from past games. Now it's been 7 years since the last entry in the series, and with a PlayStation 5 release coming at the end of this year, I thought it would be a great time to break down everything we know about Killzone 5 so far. As always, all the links to the sources will be down in the description below, so make sure to check those out and follow me on Twitter at Fonct2 for updates on all future videos. Let's start with the first leak about the game, which came in January of 2017 by Perul, which is a Dutch media outlet where they covered Guerrilla Games, who is the developer behind Horizon Zero Dawn and also the Killzone series. And the article itself covered the closing of a branch of Guerrilla. Now in the article, the direct quote translated, so there might be some lost in translation moments happening, but this is what the quote said translated just from Google Translate. Quote, Guerrilla, where 270 people work, was taken over by Sony in 2005. It is now working on, among other things, a new Killzone, and the final touches have been made to the promising Horizon Zero Dawn. Now this article was written 1 month before Horizon Zero Dawn was released, but it wouldn't be completely out of the question for Guerrilla Games to already be working on a follow-up to Killzone. And also it makes sense why Perul might know this. If they are a Dutch media outlet, it could be possible that they have ties to Guerrilla Games and maybe have some inside sources in terms of what they're reporting on just because of how close they are in proximity. Also, because Guerrilla is owned by Sony, it makes sense they would start working on a Killzone after they were finished with Horizon to start pushing and getting ready for the next console generation. Now, there are some conspiracy theorists out there who are tying this to a Reddit post as well, made by Alpha Fox Warfare. He originally made a post saying, quote, Sony announced a new Killzone and nobody knows about it. Now, this post was made in the PlayStation 4 subreddit and was later removed, but we still aren't sure if a moderator removed it or if Sony removed it. Some people think that it was removed by Sony because this post was talking about a new Killzone when Sony wasn't ready to announce it, but obviously that's the information. You guys can decide what you want with it. On top of that, Guerrilla has also been making a lot of big hires to the company, which I originally mentioned in my Horizon Zero Dawn video and explained why it didn't seem likely for Guerrilla to be hiring multiplayer developers to work for a Horizon Zero Dawn 2. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, and even back then I speculated that it's probably for a new Killzone. A few of the hires, one is a game server engineer who worked on systems like matchmaking, tournaments, clans, and leaderboards. They also hired Simon LaRoche, who previously worked at Ubisoft on Rainbow Six Siege. And funny enough, he actually, before working at Ubisoft, worked at Guerrilla on Killzone 2. So he's coming full circle back to Guerrilla to work on Killzone 5. Chris Lee was also hired in October of 2018. He had also previously worked at Ubisoft on Rainbow Six Siege. And they both mentioned working on an unannounced title on their LinkedIn at Guerrilla Games. And as I said, these hires seem to make more sense for a Killzone game rather than a Horizon game. Maybe they are looking into bigger multiplayer features and having that be a bigger part of the experience post-launch and once people finish the story. Another article I wanted to mention also comes from Perul and was released in July of 2018, where they were able to interview the CEO of Guerrilla Games, Herman Hulst. And the one section I wanted to talk about is Hulst was talking about ramping up the studio and hiring and almost doubling their staff. He continued on saying, quote, growth should also make it possible to release A-list games more often. We've been working on Horizon for 6.5 years, which is exceptional. We want to release games every 2 to 3 years, both new titles and games based on existing titles. So just from that, we know that Horizon itself was a new title for them and it did take longer to release, But if they do want to get on this 2 to 3 year time limit, we know that Horizon 1 was released in 2017. So 3 years after that would put them at 2020, and that also ties together with the timing element that it would make sense. It's been 3 years. They said new and existing titles, Killzone is existing, and kind of fits a few of these points that Hulst mentioned. Now, the only other evidence we have for Killzone 5 is the timing itself, which I mentioned before. Killzone has been a launch title for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and now PlayStation 4, and I really don't see PlayStation changing that trend now. Guerrilla did almost double their staff after Horizon Zero Dawn, so they definitely can support multiple projects. I also don't think that they knew Horizon would be such the big hit it was, so it makes sense as to why they started working on Killzone 5 instead of just going directly into a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, probably because Sony knew Killzone's consistent, but Horizon was a big blow up that no one expected. So they hired up, started working on Horizon 2 while they had still part of the team working on Killzone 5, at least is what I assume. So I would say Killzone 5 should be almost finished and will be released sometime this fall, and Guerrilla still should have made very good progress through Horizon 2. It's really exciting. I would look for the first trailer probably when they finally show off more of the PlayStation 5 and expect it at an event like that. And for the most part, that's everything we know about Killzone 5. If more information comes out about the game, I will definitely cover it before the game actually releases. Make sure to like and share this video, subscribe for weekly gaming news, and I will see you guys in the next one.